When did your parents trade you for a stepkid who later destroyed them? I was 13 when my mom died, cancer taking her slowly until there was nothing left but machines keeping her alive. The night we said goodbye, my dad held me in the hospital parking lot while I screamed into his chest, breathing in her favorite cologne. Listen to me, he said, gripping my shoulders as tears streamed down both our faces. You're my number one, and you'll always be my number one. Nothing will ever change that. He sobbed as he pulled me closer. It's just us now, but I promise you'll never feel alone. I promise. I believed him with every broken piece of my heart. For 6 months, he kept that promise beautifully. We ate frozen dinners together while he learned to braid my hair from YouTube videos. He sat through every school play and honor roll ceremony without complaint. Mom's photos stayed everywhere, watching over us from every wall. Then he met Sandra at grief counseling, and she seemed kind at first. She'd bring cookies and ask about my grades. She even cried when I showed her mom's garden. Your father talks about you constantly, she said. You really are his whole world. Dad beamed at her like she'd hung the moon. So within 3 months, they were engaged. Sandra had a daughter named Alina, who was 11, loud, and had never heard the word no. The first time I met her, she threw a 2-hour tantrum at Panera because they'd run out of mac and cheese, shrieking so violently she knocked over chairs and threw her water at a toddler. Sandra made the manager call 3 different locations to check their stock while Dad sat there nodding like this was perfectly normal. We then drove 45 minutes to another Panera so Alina could have her specific mac and cheese while our food sat cold and forgotten in the car. She's spirited, he said later as Alina kicked my seat the entire drive. She just needs stability. I should have run then. The wedding was small. I was maid of honor, forcing smiles while wearing the dress Mom had saved for my 8th grade dance. You'll finally have a sister, Dad said. I didn't want a sister. I wanted my mom, but I smiled and pretended this was normal. The changes started small. Mom's chair got moved to the garage for Alina's toys, and though Dad promised it was just temporarily, it never came back. Then Mom's photos started vanishing from the walls. Alina gets upset seeing them, Sandra explained smoothly. She keeps asking why her face isn't in any family pictures. I found them stuffed in basement boxes months later, covered in dust. My honor roll certificates disappeared next because Alina's C average made her cry. My 14th birthday somehow became a shared party, and when she blew out my candles mid-wish, Dad just laughed. Sisters share everything. By 15, I was a ghost in my own home. Dad forgot my plays for Alina's dance practices and missed my science fair win because Alina felt sick. I'd won first place for my cancer cell research, hoping Mom would be proud, but Dad never asked about it. I ate dinner alone while their laughter echoed from the dining room. Why don't you join us? Sandra would ask, but there was never a chair for me anymore. I felt myself disappearing bit by bit, just like Mom had, only this wasn't cancer stealing pieces of me, but indifference. Some nights I'd stare in the mirror, trying to remember who I used to be. The last straw was my senior trip. I'd saved 3 years babysitting, missing parties and games for this one thing that would be mine. My friends and I had rented a cabin for after graduation. I'd kept it secret, but Alina had gotten good at listening at doors. I want to go to the cabin, she shrieked at dinner. Dad, tell her I get to go. I said no firmly. Sandra's face went cold. Family vacations include everyone. If Alina doesn't go, you don't go. I looked at my father, searching for the man who'd made promises in a hospital parking lot, but he just stared at his plate. Your mom's right. Don't be selfish. That night, I sat holding the last photo of my real mom and realized my dad was gone too. The man who'd promised I'd never be alone had left me lonelier than ever. With shaking hands, I called Aunt Claire, my mom's sister, the last piece of her I had left. I can't do this anymore, I sobbed. I'm disappearing. She picked me up at 3 a.m., took one look at my face and said, you're safe now. Dad called the next morning screaming about family loyalty. Sandra's your mother now. Get over it. I hung up and waited for him to call back, to fight for me, to remember his promise, but he never did. Not once. Aunt Claire let me go on my trip and helped me through nursing school. Dad sent one card months later that I threw away unopened. 5 years later, Claire called carefully. Your father's been trying to reach me. Something happened with Alina. She'd accused him of touching her inappropriately and told everyone who would listen. The accusations were false, but rumors spread like wildfire through our small town. His job fired him immediately. Sandra left him that same week, and even those who doubted the story wouldn't risk being seen with him. He'd lost everything to the child he'd chosen over me. He wants to stay with you, Claire said gently. He has nowhere else. I thought about all those lonely dinners, all those broken promises, how he'd let me disappear. Tell him no, I said. Tell him family helps family, and I'm not his family anymore. He's living in his car now while Alina walks free and Sandra remarried quickly. Sandra even took the house he and Mom bought together in the divorce. I'm getting married next spring to someone who keeps his promises, and Dad won't be invited to walk me down the aisle. Funny how I'm only his number one when he needs something.